Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Good evening to you. Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills. Today is the 10th of September. Gosh, September not only flying away, but the whole year, 9 months just about gone. Independence, the birth of St. Kitts and Nevis, that's happening next week. Monday, it's a public holiday, is the 16th? Is it? And then the Independence Day is down on Thursday. 2 public holidays next week. I really like it when the holidays come the Friday and the Monday. National Heroes Day, when it falls on a Friday, and Independence falls on a Monday. So it's a really long weekend, like the Easter weekend. We say afternoon, we say good morning, good evening, good night to you, wherever you are, whatever part of the world are you. And it's another edition here of On the Ball. And before we go into the program, today is the 10th of the 9th month, or the Americans would say the 9th of the 10th month. So it therefore means tomorrow is the 11th. And those of you who may have remembered 23 years ago, that's the 911 situation in the US. Gosh, that's 23 years ago, boy. I remember that was just like yesterday. I remember watching it and seeing it happening. So I was saying it was a movie, and I changed it to another channel, and I say, well, they seeing the same thing. I say, okay, perhaps 2 channels gone the same movies at the same time. When I thought to a third channel, I said, no man, can't be 3 channels coincidentally have the same movie. When I start to tune in, I hear about this thing, and we're still remembering those who would have lost their lives. We say condolences to them. And those who are celebrating happy birthday today, we say happy birthday to you. Those who are celebrating anniversaries, we say happy anniversary to you. Those who have had some achievements, we say congratulations to you, whether it's in your boyfriend and your girlfriend and your bicycle and your house and your job and even on your baby. Congratulations to you. And those who are celebrating birthday between now and the next week, Monday, we say happy birthday in advance to you. Happy anniversary in advance as well. And those who celebrated birthdays between last week, Wednesday, and yesterday, we say happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated anniversary. And thinking about that, who comes to mind? Who rushes to mind? Yes, Pastor Lincoln Connor of the Antioch Baptist Church. I think he celebrated yesterday, September, and I think he's about 30 years old. That's according to him, of course. And to me, he's looking like he's about 27, 28, but he said 30, so I can't argue with him. It's his birthday. And of course, those who are going through a period of bereavement, we say condolences to you on behalf of the management staff, board of directors, myself and my family. Condolences to you. And we have had quite a few deaths in Sandy Point. We say condolences to the family. And Mr. Basketball, Barman Hanley, he would have laid his mom to rest last week when it was Thursday. And his sister, Juliet Hanley, she would have been Miss Netball, basically. Being involved in netball, playing, umpiring, coaching, what have you, for forever. And the barman's niece, Michelle Liebert, that is Juliet Hanley Liebert's daughter. She is into the netball business. She is the coach and goal shoot for the Coca-Cola, Coscab Coca-Cola Shamrocks. They're generally out of Shamrocks has always been a Newtown team. Gillian Musgrave, the architect behind that for forever. And I had a discussion with her in the week, and she said this year there's only one sporting club in the country that's older than Shamrocks, and that is Spurs. The Spurs have been around for 52 years. They have been around for 52 years. Some big scores, some lot of 50s. So they are in the finals with Aqua Ballers. They are the defending local champions. The Coscab, that's the Coscab Coca-Cola Shamrocks. Whereas the Aqua Ballers, they are the Federation's champions, put on by the St. Kitts and Nevis Netball Association. So both of them are playing in the finals, and that will be after the netball, men's netball that's happening here. And we're going to touch on that in a bit. But we're going to have some guests. We should have 3 of them with us. Mr. Spencer, Samuel Spencer. He is the chairman of the Leeward Islands Selection Committee. He should be calling in with us, and he'll be coming online about 7:30, running up until about 8 o'clock. And then from about 8 o'clock until 8:50, we are going to be having 2 gentlemen in studio, Mr. Eustace Maynard, cricket commentator and analyst. And we are also going to have Mr. Sly Percy Daniel. He is a cricket coach for forever. And we're going to be looking at the performances of the Patriots, the Falcons, the CPL. And of course, we have the Newtown, the England. They're touring the West Indies. And if we kick off with some netball, on September 12th, we have St. Kitts and Nevis coming up against Antigua and Barbuda at Court 1 at 5:30. Game 2 on Court 2 at 5:40. Grenada versus the USA. Yes, the USA is part of it. There'll be a specially invited guest. Game 3 at 7:30 p.m. Court 1. England versus Jamaica. And yes, England, they are invited as well. And then game 4, we are having Trinidad and Tobago versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Court 2. That is on September 12th. September 13th, game 5 at 5 p.m., Grenada versus Jamaica at Court 1. And then 3 games in Nevis, I'm seeing. Game 6, St. Kitts and Nevis will be coming up against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In Nevis, I'll have to confirm that, what I'm seeing. That's at Court 2, 5:10, 7 p.m. Antigua and Barbuda versus Trinidad and Tobago on Court 1. And 7:10, USA versus England at Court 2. I thought they may have put that match much further down, because I think I am expecting these to be 2 powerweight teams. And September 14th, we have England versus Antigua and Barbuda, Trinidad and Tobago versus the USA, St. Vincent and the Grenadines versus Grenada, Jamaica versus St. Kitts and Nevis, Saturday the 15th. And well, all games are in Nevis on Saturday, on the 13th. We have England versus Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines versus Antigua, USA versus Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis versus Trinidad and Tobago. And September the 16th, we are having the Jamaica versus Antigua and Barbuda, England versus St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada versus Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent and the Grenadines versus the USA. So 2 locations happening at the Pam Tyson Netball Complex here in St. Kitts, and the Sisley Grelhall Dora Stephen Complex Netball Complex in Nevis. And the admission is just, for all this action, is just $10. The games begin 5 p.m. nightly. So I'm encouraging all of you to go on out and support the St. Kitts and the Nevis Netball Association. I was planning to go and do tryouts for this thing, and I ordered a special type of leotards and a special type of sneakers or slippers, as we call them. And up to now, they ain't arrived. So them guys give it. I think I would have made the team easy I say good evening to my producer, Mr. Tough House, DJ Tough House. And he's here giving a smile. He's saying, well, boy, make what team? You better go sleep. That's why he could imagine he is singing. But CPL, oh boy, some good news and some really not so good news. Shafane Rutherford of Guyana, he has had to return home, and we're hearing of family emergency on the one hand, and on the other hand, we're hearing there was some incident with he and the management of the team, but nonetheless, he is out. And the good news is Jeremiah Louis, he has been called into the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. As a matter of fact, I think he traveled to the team down where they are, St. Lucia. They would have gone down there. So we say congratulations to Jeremiah Louis, and we hope that he really does well. We hope that he hits it big, make some runs, and pick up some wickets. I think he was missing in the last few matches, batting at number 7, 8, even number 9. Because he'll pick up 2-3 wickets and he'll give us a 30-40 runs, even a 20-something. So let's hope that he makes it. And tonight, who we're having tonight is the 10th St. Lucia Kings will be coming up at Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders. That game should have started already in St. Lucia and at the Darren Sammy Cricket Stadium. So that is going to be a good game. From what I've seen, Trinidad and Guyana, they seem to be the two teams in top shape. So it wouldn't really surprise me if they're in the finals. Of course, I would hope St. Kitts and Nevis in there. And not only in there, but in the championship. If it's mathematically possible, we'll have to wait and see. I haven't checked the maths. And then the 11th, Wednesday the 11th, that's tomorrow night, the Barbados Royals versus the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in Barbados. The St. Lucia Kings on Thursday 12th, coming up against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in St. Lucia at 7 p.m. Friday the 13th, Barbados Royals versus TKR at 7 in Barbados. And then the Barbados Royals against the Guyana Amazon Warriors at 7 p.m. That is on Saturday. So that's two hard games, two tough games for the Barbados Royals back-to-back. Sunday 15th, we have the St. Lucia Kings coming up against the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in St. Lucia. Tuesday 17th, Barbados Royals versus the Patriots at 7 p.m. in Barbados. And then all the action shifts to Trinidad and Guyana. On Wednesday the 18th, we're in Trinidad, where the TKR Trinidad Knight Riders will come up against the Guyana Amazon Warriors. And then Thursday the 19th, TKR will again come up against the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons in Trinidad. While over in Guyana, the Guyana Amazon Warriors will come up against the Patriots on Friday the 20th. That's next week Friday. And it goes on. So that is what's happening from the cricketing side, the CPL. And hey, speaking of CPL, I have another set of good news. I find it interesting. According to the stats, the top 3 batters in the tournament, we have, where are they now? Just give me a second, let me pull them up. Kyle Mayers, he is number 1 with 187 runs. And then we have our very own Mikhail Louis. He is second. Kyle Mayers, 6 matches, 187 runs at an average of 31.17. He's going at a strike rate of 150.81 with 12 fours, 15 sixes. Mikhail Louis, who is second, and he has only played 5 matches. And he has only batted 4 innings. Kyle Mayers has batted 6. Kyle has batted 4 innings. He has second with 180 runs at an average of 45 with a strike rate of 156.52, hitting 14 fours and 13 sixes. So 2 innings behind Kyle Mayers. And Evan Lewis, he has batted 6 innings. He has 176 runs at his aggregate. He's in third, an average of 35.20. A strike rate of 154.39, 12 sixes, 12 fours and 14 sixes. The interesting thing about all of this is the top 3 batters with runs in the CPL are from the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. But we're at the bottom of the table. That is interesting. Number 1, number 2, number 3 in terms of the most runs. Between them, they have 300, 460, 560 something runs. 560 something runs between the 3 of them. And on the bowling side, with the most wickets, Anric Nokia of the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. 6 matches, 24 overs, 144 runs. He has 10 wickets at an average of 21.4. And, 144 balls. And he has given up 214 runs, which is really a lot of runs, especially from his standard. And in terms of the points table for the CPL, we have the Patriots playing 6, winning 1, losing 5. They have 2 points. Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders surprisingly down, playing 2, winning 1, losing 1. They have 2 points. Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, they are in 4th, playing 6, winning 2, losing 4. They have 4 points. St. Lucia Kings, they are 3rd on a better run rate. And Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders are ahead of the Patriots on a better run rate. The Patriots, they are negative 1.183 runs net run rate, while the Trinidad and Tobago Riders, they are 0.950. Antigua Barbuda Falcons on 4 points, negative 0.687. While St. Lucia Kings 3rd with 3 matches, 2 points, 1 loss. 3 matches, 2 victories, 1 loss, 4 points. Negative 0.671. The Barbados Royals, they are also on 4 points. 3 teams on 4 points. They have had 2 matches, 2 victories, 4 points, plus 1.210. And the Guyana Amazon Warriors, they are out front, playing 3 matches, having a perfect record, winning all 3, 6 points. And wow, a hefty net run rate, plus 2.527. And this net run rate is critical. Whether you're batting first or you're bowling last, it's important to score a lot of runs when you're batting first. And when you're bowling, knock off all the runs in short order. And that is how we are looking. And just a reminder, England, they're coming down to the West Indies October 31st and November 2nd, the first and second one-day international in Antigua. November 6, 9 and 10, the third one-day international, which is the 50-over version. And the first two T20 internationals in Barbados. And then November 14, 16, 17, 3 T20 internationals in St. Lucia. So they are playing 3 one-day internationals and 5 T20 internationals. And of course, Bangladesh, they're coming down. November 22nd to 26th, the first test in Antigua. November 30th to December 4th, the second test in Jamaica. Only 2 tests they're playing. They're playing 3 one-day internationals, December the 8th, the 10th, and the 12th. All of them here in St. Kitts Warner Park. And 3 T20 internationals, December 15, 17, and 19 in St. Vincent. So we're getting a do at Bangladesh. And I'm actually hoping that some way, size, shape, or fashion, Michael Louis is involved in these test matches. He'll be there. But not only that, I'm hoping that Jeremiah Louis might get a peeping into one of these, whether it's the one-day internationals and or the T20s. But we'll have to wait and see how that works out, if he's going to make it, if he's going to be called into the squad. Now, there are two interesting pieces of articles that would have come out recently. Pacer Anderson Phillip signs for Lancashire County Club. And this article, very interesting indeed. The Trinidad and Tobago Newsday, 2 days ago, West Indies and TNT Red Force fast bowler Anderson Phillip has signed with Lancashire Cricket County for the final 3 matches of the Vitality County Championships in England. The club said Phillip, 28, arrived in UK on September 7 and will go straight into the Lancashire squad to take on Durham at Chester Street on September 9th. That was yesterday. Phillip played 2 tests and 5 one-day international for West Indies, and in 33 first-class matches has taken 114 wickets at an average of 23. During the 2023-24 West Indies first-class championships, Phillip took 29 wickets in 7 matches and an average of 18 for Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, Louis took 30 wickets. And differently, behind him now, there's another West Indian who is in the squad, Shema Holder. West Indies fast bowler will be available for final 3 games as Durham look to avoid relegation battle. Durham offside West Indies fast bowler Shema Holder for the final 3 games of the county championship. Holder, who has played a test and an ODI for his country, that's West Indies, will be available for the round of championship games starting on Monday when Durham hosts Lancashire at Chester Street. He replaces Neil Wagner, the New Zealand left armour, whose stint was cut short by injury. So I like that. I say congratulations to them. However, I'm wondering if such opportunities can't be afforded to Jeremiah Louis. Well, this is the back end of the season. Teams are struggling for survivals. Counties are struggling for survivals. And they're going to bring in bowlers, some out during injury, etc. And we're hoping that both the Louis brothers, Jeremiah and Kyle, will get an opportunity in England next year with the county. At least I'm hoping in the county championship. And we will have to see how that works out. Another piece of cricket here again. I came across this interview of an 11-year-old Zion Rose of Antigua and Barbuda. He actually was doing an interview with Courtney Ambrose. So I'm just trying to pull it up here to see if we could get it so you could give a listen. And while we're at it, remember next week is our Independence. National Heroes Day, public holiday on Monday. And then the holidays on Tuesday. On Thursday, pardon me.
I can't believe that I interviewing with the third Courtney Ambrose.
Why you can't believe that?
You're a legend, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My sound here.
I know you're a big person.
Eat.
Everything is okay. I'll have to check up and see what's going on.
You will get a 6-footer
I
in
was
time.
impressed with this little youngster. Speaking to Courtney Ambrose. But we move on, and piece of football. Dwight York. He had a court situation with Macarthur Football Club. I think that is down in Australia, where they dismissed him. And he actually took them to court and won. 200 and something $200,000. And
in compensation for his sacking after just 13 games for Macarthur FC.
1 minute 10 seconds long. Let's give a listen.
According to the Sydney Morning Herald, the Soca Warriors World Cup captain Dwight York has won hundreds of thousands of dollars in compensation for his sacking after just 13 games for Macarthur FC, which followed a dressing room spray, which he allegedly called his side a pub team and criticized the club's leadership. In an unpublished judgment that has laid bare the allegations around York's controversial sacking, the Court of Arbitration for Sport on Friday upheld a FIFA Players Status Chamber decision that Macarthur paid a former Manchester United star $212,500 after ruling the club had breached the party's contract and sacked him without cause. With interest, York will pocket about $290,000. York's lawyer, Craig Griffin, said the decision was a complete vindication for his client, who has not coached since leaving the Bulls. Wayne Cunningham, TTT Sport.
And we thank you, Wayne, for that piece of information. And we just can't go around sending home people from their coaching, etc., etc. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there is a situation here in St. Kitts and Nevis with the FA. And some coaches, they have had some situation there as well. And I think some action is happening. I'm not certain what. There are some 4 or 5 coaches, and they were not, some matter, and they were not settled. And let's go to a break right now. It's now 7:32. Stick and stay. Don't go away. And we will be right back with you in a second or two.
The plain land, yes, the plain land.
It's happening in WINN FM 98.9. What's happening in sport? 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Welcome back to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. And I'm Troy Bif Mills. And we have our first guest, Mr. Samuel Spencer. He's the chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board's selection committee.
Hello.
We say good evening, Sam. How are you, sir?
Hello, good night.
Good night, Sam. How are you?
Hello.
You're there, Sam? You're hearing me? Sam?
I'm using my.
Yes, we thought we had resolved that matter there. We'll have to dig a little further. I'm starting to think now it's actually my phone. I'm wondering if I probably need to put my phone in the garbage and get a new phone. Or hope some lovely lady out there would provide me with a phone, of course. And we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking some cricket. CPL, what's his views, and as well, we're going to be talking about the Leeward Islands tournament that should be coming up shortly. And we're going to see how that is going to be working out. And remember, we have Mr. Percy Sly Daniel and Mr. Eustace Maynard. Both should be in at 8 o'clock. And we're going to be talking some CPL expectations for the West Indies cricket team. And celebrating the good news that Jerry or Meyer, some people would know him either as Jerry or Meyer, has been selected. But while we wait for that call to come in terms of St. Kitts and Nevis football, we have quite a few leagues happening, a lot of football happening here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Atiba Harris on the 15 football league. We have September the 10th today. Trans Global Engineering, Deep Bay Eagles, Youth Stars. They would have played Dollar Car Rental, Newtown United at the Technical Centre at 5. All matches at 5. Development Bank St. Peter's locked on with St. Thomas Trinity Strikers at St. Peter's. And Village Superstars took on Keon Rockets over in Keon. We haven't heard any results for that as yet. And on Friday at 5 p.m., Development Bank St. Peter's coming up against Keon Rockets in Keon. St. Peter's will host a doubleheader. Dollar Car Rental, Dollar Car Wine. I wonder where you're getting that from. Dollar Car Rental, Newtown United versus St. Thomas Trinity Strikers at 5. And at 6:30 p.m., the feature game, Village Superstars versus Trans Global Engineering, Deep Bay Youth Stars. And actually, we are getting down into the semi-finals, taking place on Wednesday the 18th. And we have a caller online. Good evening, caller. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Good evening. How are you doing, my good friend Troy?
I am blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks. What about you, sir?
I'm fairly okay at the moment. I had some challenges in getting in on when you called, so we could have done the program in a different format.
Exactly.
So I have to go direct.
I do apologize for that, sir, and thank you very much for your flexibility. And you have my empathy, sir. I mean, you're in a much better position than I am. The Antigua and Barbuda Falcons and not doing as well as you would have hoped, and the Patriots not doing as well as we would have hoped as well.
Certainly, if I may look at the CPL, there are a couple of things that I would like to say. Some people may brand what I have to say negative. Some people may agree with me. But I've found that this year in particular, the CPL have been watered down. We're not getting the brand of cricket that we really should get. We are not getting the players, the high caliber of players that we had in the past, like De Villiers and, these kind of guys. And what bothers me, too, is the fact that most of the territories or most of the franchise are not utilizing their local players to the optimum. I take time to look at St. Kitts in particular, where I harped on the fact that at one point there was only one petition, no division, on what is called the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. And that is something that, for me as a Leeward Islander, it bothers me. In the case of Antigua, I think there's something like 5 or so local players in the Antigua setup. No, it's not that St. Kitts in particular do not have any player that could fit into that situation. I recently learned that it's a possibility that the other Louis, Jeremiah Louis, will be drafted into the Patriots.
Actually,
it's something that should have happened from the onset.
Indeed.
And these are the kind of things. And when I say that it is watered down, the cricket has become a Sept. A lot of people have gone to the cricket, not only for cricket, or I'll say most of the people now are going just to socialize. And the unfortunate thing, not the kind of attention that should be paid to the quality of the cricket, have been paid by the organizers. And I know there are some people who may want to chastise me for saying so, and let them go ahead. It's pretty all right. When it comes to cricket, I take it very seriously. And when I look at what's happening with CPL, as I harp on the fact that we're not getting quality players coming here anymore, very few, maybe one in each franchise, and what are our cricketers learning from that? What are the benefits to our West Indian cricketers at this point with the CPL? I very much feel that the time is fast coming, that the West Indies Cricket Board will have to look seriously at organizing. I think some mention was made to it, organizing a T20 tournament. I can tell you this, spectators who go for cricket are going to dwindle if they have nothing proper to support. Take Antigua, for instance. I laughed at the name, the Falcons. It has no bearing on Antigua Barbuda. It doesn't give the kind of touch. It doesn't give the kind of awareness to whom we are. The name doesn't. And then when we have the kind of cricketers that come in to play with our squad, it supports what I'm saying. And these are the kind of things that's worrying me in terms of our T20 cricket. Yes, Guyana, Trinidad, they're going to have crowds. Their populations are big. And Trinidad, I can tell you this. The majority of the folks in Trinidad go for the party atmosphere, not the cricket. So CPL has become now a carnival, a function that is moving away from cricket as far as I'm concerned. And that is just my honest, humble opinion. And I am not upset if anybody differs. But until we look seriously at the cricketing side of it, what CPL has done pretty well is their marketing. You know, they market it as, you know, the party atmosphere, you know, the best place to be in terms of sport or whatever. Yes. But the quality of the cricket, yes, Falcons had played some close matches. But in true sense, was the quality of cricket good? St. Kitts, I think, Patriots have played one or two close games too. But examine carefully, where are the Kittitians? Where are the divisions? Where is this taking West Indies cricket? These are the questions that need to be answered.
Definitely. Well, we have had some good news circulating here in St. Kitts and Nevis today. We haven't seen the official release as yet, but you should be familiar that Rutherford, he had to return back to Guyana. And we're hearing that Jeremiah Louis would have traveled with the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. He was brought into this side, and he, for the balance of the CPL this year, at least in the first instance. And I'm hoping that he will be kept for the next season as well. To me, it was a shock that he wasn't included from the word go, franchise or no franchise. And you made the point. And Tiga and Barbuda, when they were in discussions to have the Falcons come there, obviously they're going to go with certain things that they're asking for. And we're hearing about the young players. It's mandated that CPL, that each unit must play 2 youngsters. That has been happening in some cases. Nathaniel Edwards out of St. Martin, I think he's with the Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders. And he would have played 1 or 2 matches, and he would have been left out for 1 or 2 matches as well. I don't know, but I like that idea of playing the youngsters, the emerging players as they're called. But not only that, there's an award for the best emerging player. I'm not certain of the criteria, but obviously you have to be playing plenty games to be considered for that. So it's interesting where quite a few teams have played 4 or 5 matches. Some have played 3 or 2. The Patriots played 6. We're at the bottom. Trinbago Knight Riders, they've only played 2. Barbados Royals 2. Guyana 3, Amazon Warriors 3, St. Lucia King 3. And somehow I understand the share in this country, but I have a problem when 2 teams are going to be playing 6 matches, Antigua and Barbuda Falcons and St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, while other teams are have only played 2 up to this stage. And I think there needs to be more equity. But so be it. In terms of the Leeward Islands tournament, how are plans going with that, Sam?
From where I sit, it's quite apparent that the tournament will be played, and information will be forthcoming as to where we are with that. But from what I gather, that the tournament will be played, and we will have quite a number of participants in the tournament. If not all the territories, probably 80% of the territories will be participating. For me, it would be nice if all territories are able to participate so that we can get a look at our upcoming players and some who have been around for quite a while. And we just want to ensure that cricket is played. You know, I think the cricket committee, endeavored and tried their best to ensure that cricket, be played, and it's supported by the president and the directors. I gathered, for coming out of the meeting that the tournament will be supported. So very shortly, maybe by next Tuesday, I'm pretty much sure that the information as to the fixture, the venues and all that and so forth will be passed on to the media, if not sooner.
I understand that, and it's nice that a tournament is being held, especially before the West Indies CG50 over. So we could actually look at the players. And I remember a few years ago, I was in Barbados, and this was like in January. And they actually had a booklet for all the cricket for Barbados for the entire year. This might have been in the 90s. And I was very much amazed and impressed with that. Whether it was 25 over, 50 over, 30 over. The T20 wasn't around those days. But they had 35, 40, 50 overs, as well as the 3-day cricket. I don't know if they do it now, but they played, their national championships was played over 3 days. I think Saturday and Sunday this week, and then the following Saturday and Sunday the next week, which I found interesting, but I could understand the concept and the philosophy. And obviously, it's all about the financing as well. We have to have sponsors to actually make these competitions happen, because groundsmen...
I can assure you that the current cricket committee of the Leeward Islands will put out a cricket calendar for 2025, covering all aspects of cricket that will be played. All the 3-day cricket, the 50 over, and the 20 overs tournament is played. That also will put out the direct dates will be given. Probably a general fixture also may be given. Not only the dates of the competition, but I'm pretty much sure that we'll look at the host country and all aspects of what will transpire as it relates to Leeward's cricket for 2025. What we are looking at is one common thing throughout all the territories. For instance, one of the things that I personally would like to see is that all islands, all territories embark on a single plan. They follow the same process. For instance, if you have a 50-over tournament, the conditions, are the same as it would be in Antigua. In Nevis, the same thing. So then we know that this is the format, these are the playing conditions. And it transcends right throughout all the territories. If that is done, it means that we're covering everything under one umbrella. I'm also thinking that we should create a database for all cricketers who play cricket in the Leewards. I mean, from the under 15s, 17s, the under 19s, the female, the male senior team. So that you can, at the click of a button, you can pull up the name Troy Mills, and you can follow what he's doing in cricket in the Leewards and by extension in the West Indies. So those are some of the things that I hope that we can achieve, and I know that we're going to be working on those things. It's time that, we get real, and if we are the professionals that we want to say we are, we should move to those directions.
I agree with you fully, Sam. And what I find really, well, let me put it another way. What I'm not too happy about, trying to get stats of West Indian players on Cricket West Indies' website. I am really challenged with that. And I am hoping now they've just taken on board a new media and communications officer. And I am
Right.
hoping that that's one of the things she's going to be working on, because
Right.
a schoolboy doing an SBA and whoever, Courtney Ambrose, Noel Gishard, Luther Kelly, whoever, they need to go and get the information right there. And yes, you might be able to go on Quick Info or some other site out of the Caribbean, but we must be able, in my humble view, to get that information there. And I've been searching, looking for the women 50 over and T20 competition, trying to get data. Case in point, the 5 matches that Shama Joseph would have played before he was selected. Checking on the West Indies website, and I'm not seeing it. As a matter of fact, too, sometimes releases are made on other sites before they are made on Cricket West Indies.
That is unfortunate. You see, one of the things that, really concerns me at this particular moment is the talk in the leaguewards and that, it's difficult to play tournaments because it's expensive and so forth. But how can we develop our players? How can we get players in the West Indies team if we don't go out and, do the right things in terms of fundraisers, approach the business sector, approach the governments? If we don't do these sort of things, we're going to stagnate the process in terms of advancing our players. And for me, I feel sometimes, and I'll be honest and upfront, I feel sometimes some people are deliberately not working as hard as they really should for the development of the game. I find that some people like prestigious position, but yet to go out and do the work, unfortunately, they don't want to do it. And it is not good. You cannot tell me that in the leaguewards, up until this day, we complain about not being able to play tournaments or not playing tournaments over the years. And, the opportunity now to play tournaments so that the players can get a fair and just way of being selected. You stymied that. It's just not right. Players have spent $800, $900 for a bat, $500 for a pair of pads. Some players put in like $3,000, $4,000 in gears, and then when it's time now to have a tournament, and we're going to say no tournament because it's too expensive or, this kind of thing, then why are we having them playing in the cricket at all then?
Big
I
point.
think it's time that all the territories, the local directors of the territories, the local boards get above their backsides and get serious about the cricket and ensure that they do what they ought to do. I know some blame were levied at the president for not having tournaments over the years, and justly or unjustly, well, that is in the past. I feel now that all of us should be hands on deck and ensure that all tournaments that are put on the calendar for the leaguewards be played, and we have participation from all the territories.
That is indeed a good idea, and I like that because, and you mentioned it, to invest. If I want my son I want to give him a gift to say, hey, start playing cricket. We're talking $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and it's not easy. And they must see people from their region playing to encourage them. There was a situation here for the last game on Sundays. Tickets were being given out to school children to come to the park free. I am not too certain what was the take up with it, but I like that idea. And
Right.
when we look at Jamaica didn't host any World Cup matches this year, and they've lost out on the Talawas, the franchise. The question is, would they ever be part of the CPL program again in future? Are the owners going to consider having a 7th team, so to speak, to get back Jamaica, or Jamaica would have to wait until some other team drops out for whatever reason or reasons? So just like how Antigua and Barbuda Falcons would have benefited from it. But these are the questions that governments in the Caribbean need to understand that for us to compete with the best, because I looked at the test rankings and we were number 9. Bangladesh was number 4. And
Well, I'll tell you this: there should be cricket in the Olympics sometime coming up, and I do hope that the territories of the West Indies look at that seriously and realize that there's got to be a shift into how the tournament so that sector of the cricket will be organized. Unfortunately, Troy, I'm going to have to leave you at this moment because I've got to start my next program. I'm a little bit late for that. And I hope to join you next week with all the necessary information as it relates to the Leeward Islands tournament.
Thank you. I understand you did explain that in advance, and I appreciate the fact that you still avail yourself to be with us, and we really appreciate it. And looking forward to having you on the program again, and best wishes. And
you take care, and I hope you continue to have a good show tonight.
Thank you so very much. The case with you as well.
Thank you.
And we were just listening to Mr. Samuel Spencer, the chairman of the Leeward Island Cricket Board's selection committee, and sharing his views on the Falcons and cricket, not only in the Leewards, but in the West Indies on a whole. And we thank him very much for being a part of the program. And he's basically a staple feature here. And we'll probably have to recommend that the studio number to be named after him, like how he's part of the program so often. And we thank him, and he brings a lot of information to us. And if I'm not mistaken, he's part of the cricket committee as well for Leeward Islands. So we thank him for being with us. Stick and stay. On the ball. Don't go away. And we will be right back in a sec or two. Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On the Ball, a weekly tour show which is on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Bif Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Bif Mills on WINN FM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.
Welcome back to On the Ball here on WINN FM 98.9. I am Troy Bif Mills, your host, and we've had our first guest for the night, Mr. Samuel Spencer. He had to depart at 8 o'clock. We now have our second of possibly three guests, Mr. Eustace Maynard, while he settles in. An interesting piece of story I came across. Tyreek Hill fears he could have been shot in worst case scenario during police stop outside stadium. And this is according to the NBC News. September the 9th, an article by Jesse Kost and David Kelly. Tyreek Hill believes if he weren't a famous football player, officers may have shot or arrested him during a police confrontation that went from 0 to 60. The Miami Dolphins star said Monday. And this is an American footballer. The wide receiver was driving to the Dolphins Jacksonville Jaguars game on Sunday when Miami-Dade police stopped him just outside Hard Rock Stadium, handcuffed him, and put him face down on the pavement. And this is reminding me of the gentleman that they would have killed. If I wasn't Tyreek Hill, Lord knows, I probably would have been like, worst case scenario, I would have been shot or would have been locked up and put behind bars, for a simple speeding ticket, Hill told NBC News. And I quote, "That's crazy that officers would take it, to that level." End of quote. The Miami-Dade Police Department has launched an internal affairs investigation, and at least one officer has been taken off the streets in the wake of the confrontation, which was captured on video that has been widely shared on social media. And it's really a sad thing in the States where we're going to have white police officers seeing black persons and the way I go about it. Hey, we are not responsible. We had no choice in being born where we were born, being born what color with what color skin. So what's the problem? And I'm not certain, but racism is alive and well, and I'm really hoping it ends. After some 400 plus years of slavery, we still have this thing going on. But anyway, back to my studio, as I say, good evening to Mr. Eustace Maynard. He is with us live in Studio 2. Good evening, Eustace, and welcome to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9.
Well, good evening to you, Troy, and I also must take the opportunity to say a special good evening to listeners out there in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, throughout the Leewards, and around the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and wherever you are around the world, tuning, following, listening, we greet you, we welcome you, and we hope that you will stay tuned for the very important discussion that we have to share, quite a bit that we would discuss this evening in reference to the CPL, the West Indies 50 overs tournament, and the England tour to the Caribbean. So it is my pleasure being here this evening in studio, live in living colors, and I'm looking forward for the very important and great discussion this evening.
Thank you very much, Eustace, for availing yourself. I know you're an extremely busy man, and I know you have meetings to attend, key meetings on Tuesday, and we really appreciate it here. But no doubt you were smiling all the way here with the good news that Jeremiah Louis has been, I don't know if the word drafted is correct, but he's now part of the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots.
Well, I can tell you that I was very, very disappointed. Very disappointed when I heard the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots squad selected. And you have 2 international players. They happen to be brothers. They happen to be from St. Kitts. And they are at their best, at the top of their games. Excellent. Jeremiah, who has been around for some time at the first class level, represent the West Indies at the A level, St. Kitts, Leeward Islands, and also for the St. Kitts Patriots team. And just about a year or 2, he was excellent in that particular season for the Patriots team. And I just cannot really understand why. You look at the Antiguan team. The Antiguan, I believe they have people up there, who are speaking for Antigua and who demand that the Antiguans, because when you look at it, a youngster just made the West Indies youth team, just made the Leeward Islands team, and his feature in the Antiguan team at age 17. He has not even played international cricket, has not been selected at the international level. Jeremiah Lowy, who has been very consistent over the years, and fortunately for him, for St. Kitts, and for cricket in general, the West Indies selectors, after unfortunately, but as I said, sometimes the unfortunate brings the fortunate, because I had to take Roach to get injured for the West Indies selectors to do the right thing. And Roach got injured, and Jeremiah was called. So he was and a part of the squad in England. Unfortunately, going into the last test, when I believe it was an excellent opportunity for him to make his debut, he got injured. So someone like a Jeremiah Lowy, who is very, very outstanding and has been very consistent, and especially this year, the best fast bowler in the region. The best fast bowler. And he cannot make it into a St. Kitts Navy Patriots team. But an Antiguan who has not even played at the highest level or got selected at the highest level is just, you could say, is promising, shown potential, and the Antiguan decide to give him a chance or to give him the opportunity because they see him as an investment. And nothing is wrong with that. But here in St. Kitts, we imagine he had to take whatever circumstances to get Jeremiah in the team. Now, when we are at last, and when I looked at it, I see bowlers in that team that Jeremiah Lowy is as good as any, and he's definitely better than many.
Eustace, it's unfortunate that the 2 circumstances, as you mentioned, that Jerry was selected was due to the unavailability of another cricketer. Roach, he was injured, so Jeremiah was brought in for the England tour. And Rutherford, it is said that he went home for some personal reasons, and Jerry was brought in again because of that. it's most unfortunate. And you made the point, and Mr. Samuel Spencer, the Leeward Islands chief selector, he has been saying it a few years ago. In the Leeward Islands tournament you referenced, Louis would have gotten between Louis and the left arm spinner from Sandy Point, Nicky Boye, they call him Berridge.
Mm-hmm.
They got quite a few wickets between them.
Mm-hmm.
And,
mm-hmm.
well, Berridge has been performing over the years,
Mm-hmm.
and he seemed not to be able to, I don't remember if and when he played for the Leeward Islands, but he has been picking up wickets. There's something about Kitishans not making the Leeward team, because we look at Norval McCall way back when, and when he was told that he's too big to make the team, physically big, but then Cornwall, who is almost twice his size, is not only making the Leeward's team, but making the West Indies team. I think I can't help but feel that we have a lot of insularity still happening. Just before you came in, I read the article about racism with Tyrrell, the footballer from the US, who police arrested, Tyreek Hill, who police arrested, and he's a black man, and white police officers, and too often we seen that. And he mentioned that they had him face down in handcuffs, and it reminded me of Floyd. But we really, if we can't select people on merit, what sense does it make? You're going out and you're going to make the most runs, and you're not going to be selected. And I don't know, but I'm very glad for Jerry, and I hope they get the opportunity to play together. I hope he matches right into the 11 as opposed to just being in the squad. Talking about that, what do you think of the captaincy of the Patriots, Andrew Fletcher?
Well, Andrew Fletcher, who would have played at the highest level, has been around for many years. And getting down to the latter part, close to the end of his career, he has really comes up short in terms of his discretion and field placing and bowling selection. You know, I don't see Fletcher, who not really an established captain even in the region. I'm not even sure if he captained his country team, but having the experience being around and played at the highest level. I don't know, looking at the captaincy, I know Kyle Mayers is the vice captain of the team, and to be honest, I will prefer Kyle Mayers to captain the team. I will prefer Mikael to open the batting. He's an opening batsman. He has dominated every single tournament. When he goes over to Nevis in the 2020 whatever tournament over there, it's hundreds upon hundreds. When he go up to Antigua in whatever tournament they have up there, he dominate that tournament. And most of the time MVP. He is a natural opening batsman. And I think having someone with his technique, his talent, his quality and ability, giving the opportunity when you have only, restriction in the first 6 overs, he can play himself in, and by the time the 6 overs, he probably got 30, 40 runs, and he can bat his way. Look at the last game. I am so proud of this man. So proud. And as I said, and I will make it clear again, I expect not only to serve long-term in the West Indies team.
But
But
the
I
captain-
give him less than 5 years to lead the West Indies team, right? And he is going to play in all version for the West Indies team. He's going to play in the Test team, he's going to play in the One Day team, and he's going to play in the 2020 team.
But I like that prediction. As a matter of fact, let's start with the T20. Right now, he is in second position with the most runs. Kyle Mayers is first with 187 runs, having played 6 matches, batted 6 times. Kyle played 5 matches and only batted 4 times. Kyle is in second with 180 runs, and Evan Lewis, who is third, he is in third position with 60 something.
Which I have to make it also clear in reference to Edwin Lewis and even Myers. Edwin Lewis would have scored 100. And look at the other innings where he has come up.
Good point.
Very, very inconsistent. So we expect, as one of the best opening batsmen in the Caribbean, and a few years ago he definitely was the best opening batsman in the Caribbean, but he had his injury and he has, fell down in terms of his performance. And these guys, which they have already made their wealth, so they're not as disciplined and committed to the cause in terms of the quality of representation they give. It's like lackadaisical. I mean, Edwin Lewis, based on his talent and his experience, and as the most experienced opening batsman in the team, I expected a lot more from him. From him, right? But I also want to get back to Jeremiah.
Before you go back there, just quickly, the St. Lucia Kings, they are playing the Trinidad and Tobago Trinidad Night Riders. Trinbago Night Riders, and the Kings, they won the toss, did they? And elected to bat, and they are 151 for 3 after 17.3 overs. Again, it's a full 20. Faf du Plessis, he had 34 from 26. Johnson Charles, 29 from 14. Waston Chase, not out, 44 from 36. And Banuka Rajapaksa, not out, 33 from 28. Sunil Narayan, 4 overs, 13 runs, 2 wickets. He continues to be a tremendous miser. Waqar Salam Kail, he had a wicket. So that's an interesting game there as well. Trinidad won the toss and elected to field first. So we're going to wait and see how that goes. Sorry, continue as you were saying now.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, in reference to this particular game, the pitch from, as you would have gave your the scores and things like that, it seemed like it is a far much better pitch than the last game. Definitely is a better St. Lucian performance. They won the two game. They won here in St. Kitts and also in Antigua, which we definitely should have won that game. We had St. Lucia rock back with some 4 wickets down, and they dropped the New Zealand wicket keeper, and he went on to make a 60 odd, and then gave them the momentum and gave them the opportunity where they could have chased down our 200, over 200 after Edwin Lewis would have made a brilliant 100, coming back in form because he has been around for the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots, and a few years ago would have had an excellent year. But for the last few years, he really definitely has faded away. And when we expected him to show up and to contribute based on his experience and his talent and things like that, he did let us down. And especially he was the captain, and we expect the captain to lead, and the others would follow. And we had no leadership in terms of his performance, leading as the most experienced batsman in the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots, and that was really disappointing. But it was very commendable and great to see him strike form, which was really an excellent knock against the St. Lucian team, and it was a brilliant 100, and we commend him. But unfortunately, since that 100, he has not delivered in terms of runs when it was necessary, where we could have and should have won all the games in St. Kitts. We could have. But it's because of inconsistent bowling. Not
and the drop catches.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that because catches win matches.
We're plagued with dropping catches.
When you are going to drop, when we played, like, for instance, against Trinidad, they end up making 250. Trinidad should have made at least 25 runs, right? We would have chased that down, right? Against Guyana, giving them chances and chances. We also, they're making, which has been the second highest score overall in the CPL. Trinidad have the record in scoring the highest in terms of, overall in the Caribbean Premier League with 267 for 7, and we would have scored 266, 1 run short. It really was a tremendous exhibition of batsmanship in that particular game. The pitch played very, very well. It was a batting paradise. And this is what I also welcome when it comes to 2020 cricket, that you have a good pitch, even if it's more in line or favored the batsman. Let the best batting team win the game. You must go there and put runs on the board if you bat first, and make enough runs that your team, your bowlers, would be able to defend whatever run you make. So I prefer to have a good batting wicket, pitch, good, the pitch play very well, true, good. Maybe, yes, if you're a good bowler and you put the ball in the right area more often than not, you also can be successful. So
you're listening to On the Ball here at WINN FM 98.9. We have live in the studios our guest, commentator and cricket analysis, Mr. Eustace Maynard. 466-0989 is the number to call if you want to make an input. Or you can WhatsApp me 668-2055. We welcome your calls. We welcome your comments, concerns, suggestion. Andrew Fletcher, captain, opening the batting, wicket keeping. I've heard some discussions that perhaps Andy Silva is the backup keeper in the Patriots side, the West Indies wicket keeper, bat, who came off of some form in the Test cricket recently. But he can't get a game as yet.
But that is Test cricket.
Yeah, but
you can't.
Cricket is keeping. And the fact that he is in the Patriots team or any other team, somebody somewhere believes that he can make a good contribution when it comes to the T20. But the question is, I think my personal view of the captaincy of Andrew Fletcher, it leaves a lot to be desired. The use of the bowling, bowlers he have coming in at the back end, especially the final over. I'm thinking that he should be relieved of the captaincy in the first instance. And he hasn't, yes, he had an 80-something with the bat, but he has not been doing tremendously well with the bat. But do you think that perhaps he should be relieved of the captaincy and asked just to bat, not to wicket keep, but just to bat? What are your views on that?
So if you are going to remove him, which, yes, I said earlier, that Kyle Mayers should captain the team, and I would want to see Edwin Lewis and Michael opening the batting, and you can have Fletcher if he happen to play, but you are suggesting if he play as a batsman, you're suggesting that De Silva should keep. Well, De Silva is not really that special as a keeper, and he's not anything also special as a batsman. You know, he would have done reasonably well, fairly, to some extent, but is not somebody who, you know, you will really. He has places to go, a lot of learning. But when it comes to the captain, yes, the captain has come up short many times in his field placing, as you mentioned, the bowling options. You know, where I remember in one game the spinner who actually was the best or the most economical bowler, and the spin bowler only bowled, I think, was against Guyana, 2 overs. For
Sami Pomal.
Right?
I saw that and I was saying, well, he got to be injured.
And where you had Jakes hit all over the place, who has been a big disappointment so far, and that is why I am saying that when it comes to the Patriots team, I expect Jeremiah and Nokia to be the leading bowlers in the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots team, and the rest can follow. Right? We have now Asaranga. It's really a big disappointment for Shamsi, who was ranked a few years ago the best 2020 bowler in the world.
He had to go back.
But he has not performed. He is also one who contributed to the load of big scores. Him and Jakes, and then you had Odean Smith dropping all his catches. So it's a combination of reasons why we are where we are today. But we are a better team than we are positioned today. When I look at this St. Kitts Nevis Patriots, we are a much better team than the position we held today. St. Lucia is a better team than us. Antigua is a much better team than us. Any one of them, we can match. When you look at, if you're going to have Edwin Lewis, you know, with strike form and the top of his game, Michael Louis, and the top of his game, just playing the more anchor role. And I know if Michael had to open going into the last 15 overs, when he probably is on 90 not out, he would be able to dominate. And that is why in the last game, he was in the wicket, batting for some time. So he would have had the measure, he would have had the experience of the pitch, you know, how it played and whatever. And that is why he could have dominated at the end like what he did. Unfortunately, he got out. But a brilliant 60 odd and gave us the opportunity to have something that we can bowl at. And the games, even we would have scored, which in St. Kitts, the first few matches, big scores, over 200, all the teams. And then those 2 games, 150 odd, because the pitch had it more for the bowlers than the batting. Like, it was not as like a batting paradise like the first few games. I think the guys them decided to probably put some more advantage or help to the bowlers after the load of clout and licks and whatever and things like that they would have received over the. But when you are disciplined and consistent and you decide to do the things correctly, because if the deliveries are online with the stumps, I prefer you to hit a 6 from on the stumps, because you may miss and get LBW or ball. But when the ball is outside the off stump, when it's down the leg side, that's an extra, because that's a wide. So that's an extra run and an extra delivery that you have to bowl.
Which
right?
could be a 6.
Which also, yes, can be a 6. So when you look at it, we had tremendous amount of opportunity to win, especially the 2 last games. But as I said, all of the games, we had people who were just inconsistent with the bowling, and that gave Trinidad the advantage to make a 250, as I said, which they definitely should have made less runs, and being more penetrating, being more consistent, put the ball in the right area more often than not, you will get more opportunities to get the batsmen them bowl or LBW because of you being consistent in terms of your line and length.
Let's go back to the point you made about Louis. He is an opening bat in the longer version of the game. 40 matches.
Every single.
Yeah, but hold one second. We've seen where wicket keepers who normally bat number 7, 6, 7, 8 in T20. Almost all the wicket keepers are now opening the batting or coming 1 down, coming at 3. I believe as a batsman, if you're a batsman and they put you to bat 11, provided that you have the support, of course, that you're supposed to make runs. Yes, the ball is new for the openers, but look at it. Remember in the game with the Leeward, it was 0 run. We didn't have a run on the board and we lost 3 wickets. So the number 4, number 5 batsman had to be in there in the wicket in the first 2 overs. So I said that to say this. Opening batters need to be able to play spin, and they're opening with spin. And middle order batsmen need to be able to play spin, pace, whatever. Now, Jerry batted, he has batted 4. Mikel. He has batted 4, he has batted 6, he has batted 7. And I felt it was an injustice to him when him being an opener, he was asked to bat there. But then I stepped back and I looked at it. And I'm saying he has made 250s so far. And the last one here, he basically saved the team. And he top scored in both? Yes.
In the last game, he scored the most
63,
runs.
63, yes.
63.
And the first
a
game
brilliant knock.
He was 56.
And
we lost the game.
It was the only half century in the match.
But can't the the management team be looking at him with his technique and his mentality as more as a finisher, holding that middle order together and going on to finish the game? Can't that be an option, something that they're thinking about, as opposed to, hey, him being an opener? Because technically you have different roles. Because remember, Guyana opened with Moti at a time. They wanted Moti to just go down, hit, boom, boom, bam, bam. And they used somebody else as part of the experiment in the opening position. But don't you think if they're looking at Kyle as that finisher, it might be opening the horizons for him, making him more marketable in the T20 and hence the 50 overs as well?
Well, I do not agree with that that observation. I am saying, and he only I know batting at number 4 and 5 and whatever. Mainly because you have the captain, you have Edwin Lewis, and you have Myers. So because of these guys and the name and whatever, the captain also, he ain't gonna decide that he could go down there and bat number 5 as a keeper and number 6 and whatever and put Mikel to open. He ain't decide that. He want to be up there. He trying to woof and whatever. So he decide, well, I'm going to open. Lewis is going to open. And then Myers come 3. Then so Kyle could come after that. But if it was a situation where we only maybe say have one opener and Kyle is the other opener, he would have opened in the game. But we got at least 4 openers in the team. So all can open. And they will prefer, the captain would prefer to bat where he want to bat. And put Indeed. Kyle where they want to put him. But I am telling you, just take how he carried the weight and the load for the Leewards and his brother. We're going to get the tail of the CPL. 2 of them featuring tremendously for the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots team. And I'm looking forward for these guys and their contribution. I also have to make it clear to you and to anyone, I personally protested by refusing to go to the Warner Park. Refusing to go to Warner Park for the CPL leg here because of the injustice done to Jeremiah. And I was not happy. And me decide I'm not going to go nowhere. I want Jeremiah in the team. Jeremiah is supposed to be in the team. And he has nothing to do because of sentiment, territory, or insularity. Jeremiah merit to be in the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. And I also have to say that I am also very disappointed in quarters in St. Kitts that refuse to speak on behalf of our players over the years and now. If Jeremiah Louis was from Antigua, he would have been in the team. He would have been in the Antigua team.
Definitely.
He would have been in the St. Lucian team. But we have authority here in St. Kitts and can stand up for St. Kitts Nevis. Authority can decide whether it's the minister of sports, the sports department, even in reference to the cricket, the president, the whatever. Nobody speaking for our guys. Even they have authority to speak at whatever level, to whatever extent. But they refuse. Nothing we have heard. Nothing. And I can tell you, in reference to Mikhail making the West Indies team, I am also very, very, very disappointed when it comes to the authority in St. Kitts, because we did not celebrate as a country officially when he made the team. Anguilla had big thing down there when Amari Banks made the West Indies team, right? And Amari Banks was not, in terms of his contribution to get into the West Indies team, like Mikhail, because Mikhail dominated the tournament. He walked into the team. Nobody had to ask for no favor and no whatever, and there's any possibility and whatever. The best opening batsman by far and the best batsman in the whole tournament. He scored the most runs. He made the most half centuries, and really, really special in the West Indies first class tournament. So here in St. Kitts, I expected the government to organize a press conference where featuring Mikhail, his brother, the parents. You can have a representative from the Cricket Association, the media, which should have been invited, and they could arrange a stage up the park, where also it would have had economic activity, because thousands of people would have go up the park, and people who selling the popcorn and the food and the drinks and whatever. It would have been a national celebration, and nothing was done in terms of that particular, way of celebrating
that
the
not having a test player in 96 years, and all of a sudden we get two in 3 weeks, so to speak. There has been some talk going around Eustace that perhaps during the CPL leg of the tournament here, you would recall the government, they have given Kyle name the stands after him, amongst other things. But I've been involved in some discussions, a few separate discussions, separate entities, who have been suggesting that during one of these CPL matches, the 5 games we had, and a formal ceremony should have taken place to name the stands after Kyle, whether it is before the match, during innings, or after the match, or even on an off day, because I think we had at least one off day here in St. Kitts. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, you're talking a lot of sense, and I'm not looking at no off day, because it should have been in the presence of the thousands of people up there
and the international media. So many proud Kittitian who live abroad and who would have been so proud to see, our national, being recognized for his presentation and contribution and outstanding performance representing, the Leewards, took him straight into the West Indies team, and you offer the opportunity to name Stan. When this Stan gonna be named? When we gonna think it? There's a lot of talk, lot of talk in different areas and different circumstances and whatever. But in terms of the action, because as you rightfully said, and many persons who would have, had that kind of observation, it would have been an ideal opportunity to name the stand during the CPL. It would have been a big thing. And you have thousands of people, and it should have been in the first match. It should have been in the first match. So when the other
matches,
Four
people
matches.
are going to the park. They're going to the Michael stand.
We wait quickly running out of time. The Leeward Islands tournament. It is, chances are going to be here, I think, the latter part of this month. Who petitions do you see being part of that Leeward Islands tournament?
Well, I expect Jeremiah, Mikhail, I'm not too sure in reference to Akim Sanders, who has been, overlooked and got some serious.
He made himself available for the St. Kitts team 2-3 years ago, since COVID, I think. But he would have lost form. I think he's living in St. Martin, but he would have lost form. What about Khalil, the youngster from over Molyneux?
Well, I am telling you, Clark,
yeah.
Clark, who it's a serious injustice, I can tell you, for this young man. Giving you some history where...
And you got to make it brief. We only have about 3 more minutes.
Yeah, where... I guess we probably should have gone onto this. We spent some time more time on the CPL and now, and
quickly,
then we haven't even discussed the England team coming to the Caribbean.
But quickly, do you expect to see Jamal Hamilton in Leeward's team?
Well, I'll be very, very disappointed if that is the case. But I will not be surprised, because when there are situations where people are old or over the hill, when they are from St. Kitts, they move them, they rush them out, and whatever. But when they are not from St. Kitts, Antigua and the Anguilla and things like that, they find reasons to keep them in the team. So when they always find reason to keep out the Kittitian and reasons to keep in other people from other territory. So Jamal Hamilton would have made his contribution, would have served over the years, and we hope that this year
we should
say goodbye, because Mr. Clark would have represented the West Indies U team. Mm-hmm. And at that time, he was the leading wicketkeeper in that team. You had 3 wicketkeepers. The guy from Trinidad and the guy from Guyana, who went to England as a backup keeper.
Imlach.
Right? Imlach. And Clark was ahead of all of them. Clark was the leading keeper in the team. And these guys were only there to make up. Fortunately for them, they get opportunities to play for their countries. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for Clark, and because he's from St. Kitts, because if he was from Antigua and Anguilla and Nevis, he would have gotten opportunities. For some reasons, Kittitians always get the bad end of the stick. They always find reasons to keep out the Kittitian, to undermine the Kittitians. That even when Akim Sanders scored a brilliant 140 odd in Antigua in a child match, he still can't. He make the most runs. He was good enough to make the most runs, but he can't be good enough to get in the team.
Joel Andrew, young and upcoming on the 17 keeper. Chances are he's going to be keeping for the West Indies on the 19 just now, and maybe even captain. Would you consider using him to keep for Leewards?
No way. Clark should be the next man to keep for the Leewards. And as I said, if Clark was from any other territory outside of St. Kitts, especially Antigua, he would be automatically in the Leewards team. Automatically, I can tell you. This ain't no joke. He would be in the Leewards team. But because he's from St. Kitts, all the foolishness and nonsense they have done to Kittitian over the years, all the injustice, that is why Michael Louis should have already made this Leewards team when they push in Ronald Powell's son and Stuart Williams' son, and they had Hodge from Anguilla, done over the hill, still playing, keeping out Michael. I remember when he played a match over there in Nevis, a young 17-year-old against Cotwell and Azari Joseph at the top of the pace, and he took them on with a 70 other. I am telling you, almost killed the two of them. Dominated. I am telling you, a young, promising, talented, and really and truly, many the cricket experts around the Leewards knew that he was supposed to be in the team, and they wanted him to be in the team. Just like this year, many of them called for him to be in the team, and they rightfully gave him the opportunity. Because I said, and I would have said it to you, and I would said it to many persons, give Michael Louis one first-class season. One. And he will be in the West Indies team.
Quickly, England tour in the West Indies. They're playing 3 ODIs and 5 T20s. October the 31st, November 2nd in Antigua. November 6th, the third and final ODI in Barbados, and the first 2 T20s on the 9th and the 10th in Barbados, and the last 3, November 14, 16, 17 in St. Lucia. Are you thinking about any changes to the team that would have played South Africa?
Well, I continue to be very...
And we just have 30 seconds.
I continue to be very disappointed in the selection over the years, and not just now. And that is one of the major reasons why we are where we are today. Because there is no reason why Johnson Charles should be still in a West Indies team. No reason. The chairman of selectors, when Bravo made the most runs at 34, he said he's not looking at Bravo down the road. So the man was the best batsman in the West Indies. Johnson Charles, much older than him. Johnson Charles has not nowhere in the class like Bravo. Is still in a West Indies team because of the insularity, which a lot of things that you don't know, which I have a lot of insight in terms of the selection now of the West Indies team. Sammy has a big say in terms of the selection. And Sammy is doing injustice to certain players in the team. And that is why Kyle Myers is out of the team. And Jokey Johnson Charles, who is the worst opening batsman in the history of West Indies cricket, is still in the West Indies team. So let me see if they will still continue to go with Johnson Charles, who has nowhere to go, even if they have to pay me $1 million to watch Johnson Charles, I will refuse that $1 million, because the only person who's in charge of my happiness is me, and nobody will be allowed to rob my joy.
A quick question on the captaincy. For the CPL teams, the captains we have, we see them going any place really. Antigua and Barbuda Falcons, Chris Green. Barbados Royals, Roman Powell. Guyana Amazon Warriors, Imran Tahir. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, Andrew Fletcher. St. Lucia Kings, Faf du Plessis. Trinidad and Tobago, Kyron Pollard. Are we seeing any development for future West Indies captains for these T20 tournaments in any of these 6 teams?
It has nothing to do with development. It is an entertainment. That is what the CPL is concerned about. Money smiling all the way to the bank, and entertainment with dancing and prancing with costumes, and you name it. It has nothing to do with anything to do with development.
Houston, we're going to have to leave it there. you have 15 seconds to give us some final words because we're over time already.
Well, I just also want to say that it's very unfortunate that the radio station, I want to believe, can only be heard, I believe, less than 25% of the population. And that is not something that is encouraging and that is nice. So there are many persons out there, especially the older person, ain't really interested in no tuning into the internet and whatever. They want to put on the radio and listen to the station, whether it's the Vaughan or the ZIZ or whoever, whichever. They want to be able to put on the radio, sit down in the living room, the balcony or whatever, and enjoy a good program, whether it's music or whatever. And for some time now, WINN FM cannot be heard in many and most of the areas in the country. And that is very unfortunate, where people will that, man, me ain't gonna worry about no internet. Even they maybe have the computer and the cell phone and whatever, because they might be interested in doing something else. So I want to say that it has been a pleasure being here this evening for the interaction, the discussion, and I am definitely looking forward for another opportunity where we can shed more light, because I guess the Leeward Island tournament, we'll be able to discuss that. Guess maybe the England series and
Bangladesh
the Bangladesh. So there are a lot of cricket which are there to be played, and definitely I want to also wish, which are being continued to pray for Mikhail and Jeremiah Louis, that they will continue to raise the flag or carry the flag high for St. Kitts and Nevis. We wish them all the best, and by extension we wish the team, and I wish this station and our proud nation the best for our independence, and happy independence to all national of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you very much, Eustace. Always interesting, your views, very passionate, whichever angle you're going to take it, and I do appreciate that. And we thank you very much for taking time out from your very, very busy schedule, especially with events that you're planning on for the Independence Week next week, Godspeed, to be here with us. It has been a wonderful program here on WINN FM 98.9, on the ball, heard every Tuesday at 7 p.m. WINN FM 98.9, also on Facebook and on YouTube. And we had with us Mr. Samuel Spencer, chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board of Selectors at first, and now Mr. Eustace Maynard, cricket commentator and analysis. And before we slip away, the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association will be holding a talent identification program this coming Saturday, the 14th of September, and it's going to be down at the St. Paul's Community Center from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have school buses starting to pick up at 8:15 on Saturday. One bus will be going east, the other will be going west. So we are asking your children to be on by their school on the island main road at 8:15, and they'll be taken to the St. Paul's Community Center, and we're going to be having some lovely hours of table tennis. We are actually working towards participating in the Olympic qualifications come 2028, but we can't wait until 2027 to start. So we're starting now in 2024. We're targeting children between 6 and 16. So 4 years from now, we'll be having persons between 10 and 20 competing, and we're hoping that they'll be able to participate in the Olympic qualifiers for table tennis. And that's 2028 is going to be in Los Angeles. And by 2032, Godspeed, we'll be able to have a serious thrust for it. But anyway, the registration is being done online, notwithstanding what you used to say about things being online. And you can go to the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Facebook, or you can give me a call, 668-2055. I'll be able to send the link for you for registration. We're also going to be accepting registration on the day at the center, but we're hoping that to help us to better plan, have an idea of how many persons, how many children are going to be coming, you register online. So thank you very much for listening us. Remember, Friday is National Colors Day, and white is the color. So those of you, remember to wear your white and color. And remember, Monday is National Heroes Day, a holiday. So we're going to say happy National Heroes Day to St. Kitts and Nevis. Be safe. It's a long weekend. Be safe. Be very vigilant. And thank you again. As I slip away, always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, and in your action. Thank you very much for listening.